Hey there, YouTubers. Welcome back to my channel. Piece of C60 here, pure copper. The thing you're seeing there on the screen, the bash shell, I'm just listing out my bash profile in case this helps somebody else in the same boat. You've already installed Anaconda for Python, you're already using Spider, and now you want to give VS Code a try, and you do, and you like it, and then you want to do Rust. And Spider is not built for Rust. Let's face it, Spider is dedicated IDE. It's really mostly about Python. But VS Code, you've got all these plugins. But then how do you get the path to work? I mean, how do you actually still use your Anaconda? And I've already got mine taking me into my Conda base profile, my Conda environment of choice is just as a result of my going into a terminal. I get to run that script, right? And then I Conda activate base. So then I need to expand the path with the Rust stuff after that. And then I do an alias to get to the VS Code where Anaconda put it. And so I can just go code dot like people do in the videos and get the same cool usage, right? So just to show you what I mean, I can go, here I am in my, let's go down into Rust and projects. And the ones I was just working on was called Raise. And I kind of finished with the Rust thread, but I'm just showing you, winding up here. Actually, what I want to talk about is India here in a second. India. Why? I'll tell you that too. But here we are. So at this point, I could go code dot, and thanks to this alias right here, I'm actually asking for VS Code to open on the files that are in this particular subfolder. So I hit that, and I expect some stuff to come up on the screen here. There are some errors about not finding some video player or something like that. What you're seeing here is actually my web browser and computing volumes in XYZ and IVM units, talking about quad rays and all that kind of stuff, like I've been doing the last few videos. That's what my Rust program has been about. And I have put what I've got so far on a GitHub repo. So just to tie off loose ends, if you've been paying attention to my most recent videos, you'll know that I've wanted to bolt the same Rust template onto two implementations of vector or ray, R-A-Y, ray as in ray of sun. And so here I am implementing the so-called traits. And since the last video, I've added length and stuff like that. Okay, so that's where I'm leaving. I've got a link to the repo in the last video in the notes in the YouTube description. I do recommend, though, that Jupyter Notebook become habit forming if you're into not just STEM topics. Depends what you mean by STEM, but definitely why Python is popular. It's not that it's just the language is super fast or as good as every other language or whatever. It's not just the language, it's the critical mass of ecosystems. It's just in a good place, really. It's all about location. So this is my channel at the moment, and now about India. The reason I'm taking up India, here I've got this tablet, right? This is a Windows tablet, and a lot of the time what I'm doing, like if I'm cooking, is I'm watching these kinds of videos. This is all about RSS, and the book that just came out by a scholar, Walter Anderson, who's kind of a professorial scholar who's studied the RSS. Now, what is that? You know, what is that? This is I'm talking about. Okay, a movement in India, you could say, and I hesitate to compare it with anything yet because I'm just tuning it in. Maybe in the comments you want to make your own comparisons. RSS is to India as BLAT is to what, right? Some other country maybe. BLAT is to Turkey. BLAT is to what? Like, what is a good analogy? And then there's a political party, the BJP, that's probably the closest to of all the parties, this RSS, but there are no way they're not synonymous, right? So is there something like that in the US, right? Or somewhere else? What other country have a political party very closely connected to a religious, would you call RSS religious? Maybe not. Ideological? So anyway, I'm studying it, and why am I studying this? Well, because an interesting candidate for president, United States president, Tulsi Gabbard, is Hindu and is always being accused of having connections to the RSS. And I'm trying to figure out, now that I know it's the world's biggest NGO, probably with the most membership. I'm sure there's connections to AARP, AAA too. I mean, there's going to be degrees of freedom or zero in that organization, in that big of an organization. It's true. She's going to have connections to it. But that's just normal, right? Same way that crime families overlap all over in kind of a Sopranos kind of sense, right? Kind of Machiavellian, Italian, kind of like Verona, kind of Romeo and Juliet, the Capulets and the Montagues. There's always these elopements and stuff. They're quite scandalous. Anyway, I'm kind of babbling here, but I'm just saying the family dynamics are going to be there. I don't doubt it. Now, what you can do with Jupyter Notebooks is confirm that you understand and that you can communicate your topic by importing, say, for example, quadrats or the tetrahedron class and doing a workout, right, in the form of a Jupyter Notebook. And I like about Rust, what I really like is how unit tests or just testing is built right in as a practice. When you create the paradigm library, it's got the testing area right there with the rest of the documents. Now, I happen to take all that out kind of inadvertently. It's not that I'm against the tests, but I was just starting over from scratch after a while, right? Trying to get this to at least compile. And like I say, I'm no Rust expert here. I'm just being respectful of um, a technology that really you understand better, even though C++ is what it's trying to supersede. If you've gotten good at or really tackled C++, you're going to out of the box understand a lot better right away what a lot of Rust is accomplishing and wants to accomplish in terms of generics too, things that statically typed languages have to tackle in a different way than say a Python, right? So for a Python coder like myself, and I've done all my real work with quadrats in Python, really. That's where I've got I'd say my reference copy or whatever. And then remember at Wikipedia, C++ by Tom Ace, and his libraries introduced, to me anyway, the rotation of quadrats with the 4x4 matrix. That was not my invention for sure. So, and I haven't even implemented that in Rust in this one. I would say if you are interested in going with quadrats and say Rust as your target project, go ahead and fork this. I probably won't do pull requests on this copy because it's kind of a museum piece of like kindergarten quadrat. Because I have a parallel exhibit, for example, in Clojure. If I go up to the launch or the top root of this GitHub repo, let's just take a quick look here and then I'll be out of here. But let's find the Clojure stuff. Just to take a look at a different language. So under repositories, I've got everything blown up really big here. So that's why not very much is showing up on the screen. I kind of wanted to go for that look, go through these different things. That's Coffee Shops Network and various clients. And there's that one. Okay. I haven't been here for a while. Are we getting close to Clojure? Actually, the synmods, that rings a bell. Synmods could, yep, there's the Clojure. So this is a whole different language, which I, again, am super not a super expert. It's just, this is kind of the level I got to in Clojure. And here I'll make it smaller for once so you can see more. Wow, what's happening? I have a pet snake in this room, so a little bit of a commotion over there. Anyway, this is the look of quadrats in the Clojure language, and you could compare this with what I've got going in, and this includes actually, what does this include? This has got more in it, actually. I've gone further with this in some ways. Anyway, I'm just suggesting here, I'm kind of in torch passing mode. I'm talking to other teachers of this lineage and saying, hey, this is a good place in the curriculum where you can bring together coding in multiple languages so you can show the different paradigms with this other way in which we have different paradigms. The quadrats, which are a bridge to the whole number of volumes of the concentric hierarchy. And that's, in sort of a streamlined way, it represents another paradigm, a neighboring namespace, what I call Martian. But it does get you out of your usual ruts in a way, and that's in itself valuable. That would be my contention. All right, good chatting with you. We'll talk to you next time.